So you want to get some more experience, so you apply to an internship. And when you apply to the internship, you realize that the company wants you to have experience to get more experience. How are you supposed to do that, especially if you have low grades, not much experience, and you're competing against this 4.0 GPA guy over here? Well, that's what this video is for. A little backstory about me: I've had, I think 6 or 7 internships over the course of my degree. I started out in marketing and had an extremely low GPA. I'll put it over here. I think it was mostly passes and credits, and I didn't really go to any classes or lectures. I just turned up to the exam going off what I learned in high school business studies. As you can see, it didn't work out very well, but I knew I needed experience, so I needed to find an internship. How was I supposed to find an internship in this market? So to go into specifics, the internships I've had and currently have, I'm currently interning at an asset management company. In the past, I've interned at a financial planning dealer group. I've interned at a fintech company like Afterpay, if you've heard of it. It's a competitor to Afterpay. I've interned at a superannuation company. I've interned at an internet provider. I've interned at a computer store. I've interned at, I feel like there's one more. I can't think of it. That must be it. Okay. I feel like I'm leaving one out, but anyway. So I managed to get some internships with extremely low grades. I managed to bump all my grades up. Now I'm at a distinction average, but before then I was at these grades that I showed before. Now you're probably wondering, how did I land these internships? It's so competitive. For those of you who don't know, the usual process to get an internship in Australia is through a website called Grad Connection or Grad Australia. These are websites that list all the available internships for the year on a certain website, and you can apply to them. But the thing is with these, it's where you go if you want to work for the biggest of the best companies like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Google, Netflix, Amazon, Facebook. All these kind of big companies would be listed on these websites. And because they're so big, they go through a very extensive hiring process. These hiring processes include multiple interviews, assessment centers, which are very intense, and a variety of psychometric exams. So this process really isn't good and maybe not worthwhile if you have a low GPA and not much experience, because you know you're not going to be selected when you're competing against someone with a 4.0 GPA and multiple internships. So what do you do in this scenario, or more specifically, what did I do? So I watched the movie Wolf of Wall Street, as many of you probably know, especially if you study finance. And what Jordan Belfort became most well known for was his sales abilities and his cold calling abilities. Now, the idea of cold calling in this scenario was Stratton Oakmont, the company they created. He called up random individuals wanting to sell a security to them, and he would profit. Now, the idea of cold calling is pretty much when you're trying to pitch something to someone you don't know. Now, I took this principle and applied it to the job seeking world, and I didn't actually cold call specifically, because the thing with cold calling is I didn't want to go through the stress and the rejection really. So I came up with a different method. I did something called cold emailing, which is much more cowardly, but it's efficient, and it worked for me and has worked multiple times. The way you go about this is you don't target Goldman Sachs, you don't target JP Morgan, you target the small companies. Now you're probably wondering, how do you find small companies? Well, I'll show you that. So if you go over, so here's what we're going to type. We're going to be typing a random city, go Melbourne, boutique, let's go asset management. And what you do is simply Peak Asset Management. It's probably a small company. You go to the website and you want to click contact. This isn't the company I work for, but this is an example. Type in your first name, last name, email, website. You don't have a website unless you want to link your LinkedIn, your phone number, and your message. Now, you're probably wondering, what do you type in the message section? Well, I'm going to go through and try find what I sent to my last internship place. All right, it should be on the screen here. Hi, my name is your name. I'm entering into my final year of a commerce degree with a finance major and a corporate and commercial law minor. I'm emailing you today to inquire if company has any current opportunities for present for students. This could include part-time roles or internships. I am extremely interested in finance, and I believe that a role with company would be a great fit for me. I've attached my CV and would love to hear from you. See, here I didn't even have to write a cover letter because they think it was directly to them. But really, I sent the same email out to probably 30 companies or so, and I got quite a few emails back. A lot of people will just ignore you but a lot will respond. A lot will say, sorry, we're small companies, we don't have any room for you. But this method can be applied to any industry. I've had friends who study engineering apply it to their engineering courses. It works with finance. I've also had internships in other industries like IT. So this can really be adapted to any situation. It can be a really easy way for someone to land an internship and get some resume padding like my goal was. Now my resume is quite decked out, I guess, compared to a lot of my fellow students and friends. And now that my GPA is significantly higher, going into the workforce will be significantly easier. And I encourage you guys to do the same thing, land some internships, get your GPA up, and yeah. Oh, I did a typo. Yeah, space. As you can see, there are all these places, all these potential places for you to email and cold email. There are so many. If asset management is your goal, there is a ton to choose from. You can just select, pick and choose whatever you want, email all of them, same message. The message I'm going to go through in a second. But let's do a different field, for example. Let's go consulting. It's the same. There's heaps. Let's go software development. Yeah. As you can see, the sky's the limit. There's many places for you to cold email. The only thing standing in the way is you actually doing it.